Representative Nuccio of the 53rd, representing Tolland, you have the floor.
You got one of them. There's two more I got. Willington and Vernon.
My apologies, madam.
That's fine. Thank you. And I know it's been a long night, and I only have a few questions for the proponent of the bill. I've been in here for probably a good, I want to say about 98% of the debate, but there was a lot going back, and these are just ones that I have that I don't know that I got the right notes down, or I just want to validate, if that's okay with you, sir.
Proceed.
Thank you. So the first question that I have is, how is a school or anybody going to know that I have a child, sir, through you?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, it's long practice that you have to enroll your school-age child in school, and so we've now just named that enrollment form. It was priorly unnamed. This is naming it. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Nuccio.
Thank you, sir. I guess I'm asking because I know a lot of homeschool parents who've never enrolled their child in school, right? So this is now going to require them, right? But I guess my struggle is, you know, if I have a baby, whether it be in Connecticut or another state, and I just know in my heart that I want to homeschool, I would never have approached the school to enter them. And I don't believe up until this, there is any legal requirement for a parent to enroll in public school or to file a form. So I guess, is there going to be a list or anything like of children who are born in the district to make sure that, you know, all of these kids are registering through one of these different means? Like, is there any enforcement to say, you know, I had a baby and they're 5 now or 6 now or 7 now. How do you know whether or not I'm enrolling them, sir, through you?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, we did touch on this a bit earlier. So districts do reach out to all the families that they know of that live in their community with kids who are school-aged to enroll in kindergarten. They get that data from local preschools. I believe they get it from the birth records. I also know my child's pediatrician every year at their annual well visit gave me a whole packet of information about everything that was age appropriate at that time. And we also touched on the fact that we have a very engaged and robust homeschool community here in our state who has many, many resources available for families who know in their hearts that they always want to homeschool, to understand what the expectations are for them. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Nuccio.
Thank you. So if I hear that right, then, you know, basically it's a conglomeration of, you know, whether or not you have your kid in preschool or your doctor or birth records or anything like that, that there's basically a way to kind of track to say, you know, you've had a kid, they're of school age, we expect you to register them. And if a parent doesn't register, and I think I got this right, but I just want to make sure. If they don't register them, then that will be reported to SDE, or I'm not sure if the school reaches out after 3 times, nobody gets back to them, then it's reported to SDE and then correspondingly to DCF. Is that correct, sir, through you?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker. In the initial instant, if a family does not file an intent to educate form and the district does not know about that child, the district would continue to not know that child exists. That's the same that's happening in our districts right now. If they file an intent to educate form and then they don't the next year, that's when the district has to reach out 3 times. If they don't make contact with that family, then they notify the State Department of Education. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Nuccio.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm just taking notes so I have all of this down. Okay, and then the next question I had is, I think I have this right, but when I file my paperwork at the school, The school has 2 days to file this into the system for DCF, the DCF portal, and then DCF has 5 days to review and either approve or deny the application for withdrawal. Is that correct, sir, through you?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, that's correct.
Representative Nuccio.
I got one right. Okay, next question that I have is, if there is no DCF file at the time of my initial filing, but sometime between that 7 days, a claim, somebody makes an accusation, right? It's not a substantiated claim, but it's just a phone call, it's just an accusation at that point. What does that do to the process? Somewhere within that 7 days, someone makes a claim. Through you, sir.
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, the claim would have had to happen before the query's made. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Nuccio.
Okay, so then it can't be like, I enter it, then somebody makes a phone call, is an accusation. None of that would matter. It would be based off of anything that happened prior to the claim being submitted. Okay, thank you for that. Let's see. Can you please clarify what would happen now if I'm a homeschool parent and somebody files a DCF report against me, and say it's substantiated and they're doing an investigation? At that point, since my child is already a homeschool child, do they then have to go back to school, or do they remain homeschool? Like, there's no way that, there's nothing, what are the steps for them to say your child has to go back to public school? Sir, through you.
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, there is nothing in this bill that requires any homeschooled child to be forced to return to the public or private schools. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Nuccio.
Okay, thank you. I think that kind of helps answer my next question, but I just want to be sure. I was definitely against the bill that we did back my first year, which removed the religious exemption from a vaccination perspective. And at that point, I had a lot of families who came to me in my area who withdrew because they did not agree and they did not want to it wasn't even not all of them didn't even not want to vaccinate their children, but they didn't want to vaccinate them also on the schedule that was there. Some people just wanted more time and to be able to spread out vaccines. And I remember it was literally probably one of the first bills that I spoke on up here, and I had to run from the LOB all the way over here, so I was out of breath, so it made it look like it was horrible, but it was a great experience. My concern at the time was that, the state of Connecticut is responsible for providing a free and public education for every child. Whether or not you chose to take that is your prerogative, but they do have to provide an education if you so want it. And at the time, and still now, there is no educational opportunity for somebody who has exercised their religious freedom to not vaccinate their child or to vaccinate them on a slower schedule than is dictated by the government. And at the time, everybody said, well, we're working on it, we're gonna have something. And still to this day, we still do not have an option for these children. So if my child is not vaccinated or is on a different schedule, and they're gonna be homeschooled, and I don't file the form, and it goes through SDE and DCF, what does DCF ultimately end up doing? Like, if I refuse to file the form and my child is not vaccinated, what is the role DCF has to play in that? And what are the steps that would be taken should I decide to not file, sir, through you?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, this bill does not contemplate in any way vaccinations for students who are being educated through parent-managed learning. Through you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Nuccio.
No, I realize it doesn't handle the vaccination thing. My concern is, and it's late and I may have missed it, but if I don't file the form, right, because I'm gonna homeschool, right, I don't do it, and it gets reported, or the second or the third time, and DCF gets called and that, there's nothing that basically can compel me to put my child into the public school system for not complying with this regulation, either for or against, and anything in relation to, I don't want him in school because I don't want him vaccinated. So there's basically, what I'm trying to figure out is, there is no way in this bill for you to compel me to put my child into public schools, sir. Is that correct, through you?
Representative Leeper.
Through you, Mr. Speaker, that's correct.
Representative Nuccio.
Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate it.
Representative